Saturday. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 134. With not one, but two phenomenal, dynamic, beautiful guests. Our mission today is very simple. Let's create and spread some light. Let's bring some optimism, and let's have a good time. Let us know in the chat where you're dialing in from, and let's have some fun, guys. Let's get nuts. Waiting for my partner in crime, Big Dave. And we're going to get this party started, baby. Big Dave, I see you. And I love you. So there's that. Kristen, I see you. We're going to bring you on in less than five. Dave, let's hopefully no technical difficulties this time, right? Dave, did you receive my request? Instagram back at it again. My goodness.
Mr. Eagle.
How you doing, Big Dave?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's good to see you as always.
Happy
Saturday. Episode 134, baby. We got not one, but two dynamic guests.
It is so good, man. That is awesome.
How are you doing?
Yeah, just getting ready. I leave for Tahiti tomorrow. Then we're going to Houston, Mexico City, Orlando, back out to San Francisco, Los Angeles. Then we start filming the TV show. Hopefully you'll be coming out. We got some really big stuff. And then I just found out I am going on a tour with Dane Cook.
Really?
So we are going to be doing a tour together, and it's probably one of the bigger opportunities that I've had, but super excited. If you've heard of Dane Cook, he's one of my favorite comedians, but he also is a philosopher, and we get to a different type of conversation together, and it'll be.
Yeah, absolutely love it. We're going to bring on Kristen in just a second. Are you still there, or we're a little stuck? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Dave? Instagram, huh? Looks like we're frozen a little bit. Can the audience hear me?
No idea. I've never had that one happen.
Yeah, can never lose you.
There we go. All righty.
We're going to bring on our guest. Real quick before we do, I just want to say something about, the obvious, what's going on in the world right now. Heartbreaking, terrible. I personally found myself a little paralyzed in to what to say and how to kind of understand what I'm saying, what I'm feeling. One thing I know is it's absolutely terrible. But I found myself so unsure what to say. And it took me a few days to process what I wanted to say. And I noticed that now that we're public figures and so forth, and you're much bigger than I am, and Taylor Swift's bigger than you and so forth, if people don't agree with what you say or
wait, hold on. You think Taylor Swift's bigger than me?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't even think we exist in the same world, man. She's amazing.
It's on fire. But it's just I think people forget, Dave, you and I are human beings, right? I need a second to digest and so forth. And people just want you to do the way that they see it and kind of get negative about it. I'm just curious, how do you handle a situation like that? And also, even just in general, how do you process what's going on and so forth?
Well, I'm someone who talks about what I'm for, not what I'm against. And so just in general, I don't believe in talking against anything or anyone. I talk what I'm for, and I'm for peace. I'm for unity. I'm for bringing the world together as it should be in an abundant, infinite, unified system of thought with an omniscient, all-knowing, all-powerful source that protects, promotes, and loves everyone. And I will not cast a judgment, which would only be an opinion based on fear and doubt. And I send love and peace and healing to everyone. And I will only speak to the ease and love and peace that I am for. And I refuse to speak against. I guess I'm against. So I'm against negativity. So
Yeah.
I tend to talk in realms of, I'm against atrocities. I'm against war. I am against anything. I mean, I'm for peace, right? I'm against talking about those negative things. So, it's everybody has their own individual opinion based on their own ignorance. And, if we could just focus in on where we find the light, the love, and the lessons amongst each other, the atrocity occurs, that we're just creating another whole generation of people that won't be able to forgive each other. And forgiveness is what brings ease and gratitude into our lives. And so I wish that to everyone, forgiveness and gratitude. And I pray for everyone's happiness, health, wealth, and worthiness in the world. And I appreciate anyone that believes in an infinite, abundant, unified system of thought that we belong to for good. As you know, what do I always say? Be kind to your future self, and do good deeds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm for.
And also, I respect it. First, I love what you said. I'm so glad I asked you. And I respect and appreciate everyone has their own individual opinions, but there's a way to communicate how you're feeling. There's a right way, and there's
People try to separate you, and I had one of my aunts call my wife. She had met with some of her friends to discuss and bring people together, and they did it at my beach house, and attacked by our own family, my wife, for having lunch at my beach house to discuss how we can bring people together. But everybody has a judgment and an opinion based on fear and doubt. And like I said, I'm all for people expressing their opinions. I'm for peace. I'm for light and love. I'm for the truth. I'm for forgiveness, and I'm for gratitude.
Yeah, beautifully said. Love you. You're a sex owl. And
I am a sex owl.
We're going to bring on Kristen. Optimistic, no pun intended, that it's going to work and Instagram's going to give us no.
I love Instagram. I'm for Instagram. I'm for TikTok. I'm for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm for the interference that doesn't let me on. You know what it said when it kicked me off, Craig? Just so you know while we're waiting.
What?
It said something like, "Do you want to join?" And then it kicked me off. I never saw that before. Yeah. So I said,
Kristen.
I said yes. Hey, did I tell you I'm speaking with Tom Brady? How cool is that?
Well, I'm not surprised, but really what you're saying is Tom Brady gets to speak with you.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm no Taylor Swift. I'm no Tom Brady, but to share a stage with Taylor Swift or Tom Brady, it would be, it's a lot of fun, because that's the GOAT, man. Regardless whether you're a New England fan or not, I'm for the GOAT. I'm going to be with Chicharito as well, who's the GOAT of Mexican soccer. So I got two GOATs and the sheep. Or no, owl, the sex owl.
Kristen, comment below so I can try to bring you up, because I've requested you a couple times, but it seems like it's given us a hard time. Also, Dave, ironically, I had a conversation on my podcast. We didn't air it, but I recorded yesterday with Tom Brady's coach, Greg Harden. Are you familiar?
Yeah, of course.
Coach? Yeah. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. So I've met Tom before. I've just never really shared. I had a dinner with Drew Brees, and he keynoted Aspire with me this week. We had Itzler and Gary and, the normal crew, Tim Story and the likes. And, it was really nice to see the spirit of excellence in that guy. He's a family, faith, and fitness guru. And I've been around from being a sports agent with Lee Steinberg, and I've been around the GOATs, and he's the GOAT of all GOATs when it comes to just values, walking the walk. I have never met a more humble, amazing person that plays football than Drew Brees. And I was big shout out to him because he exceeded my expectations. He articulate and smart and kind. He stayed the whole night. There's a line, of course, people, fans, etc.
He's handsome,
He's handsome too, man. He knocks it out of the park there. So, I tried my best to, cuddle up to him, but, I don't think it was quite appropriate to get such a long hug, but I had to do it anyway.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to totally stay composed, act like I'm not frustrated at all. Once again, we're having trouble bringing on our guests.
I have no idea why, but I understand that it occurs. Got to make sure that people have updated, following you, following me. There's all these new regulations on the Instagram.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point. Maybe Miguel and Kristen, are you following Dave also? Because I know Instagram's being a little funky. Just make sure that you're following that handsome sex goose, and then let me try again.
Or Owl, Goose, Owl, Ferocious Buddha. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
So since we were talking, in the idea of the size, scope, and scales of our audience, and you were saying like, you're more popular, they're more popular, they have, and I just want to point something out and ask you, in your inherent ego, because this is something that I fight, when you see other people that do what you do and they get opportunities that you didn't get, do you have any amount of time in which you spend in comparison, competition, or jealousy or envy? Or have you reached the point where you're for and excited for them to get those opportunities?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if you asked the Craig of 4 years ago, the immediate reaction would probably be like jealousy or envy or why not me? But now, and I wrote about this a whole chapter in my book, which says if you don't clap when you see other people winning, you're missing the point. Because my thought process is if they got it, they're showcasing what's possible. And it's only a matter of time if I'm willing to put in the work and improve on my craft and get better, that those opportunities will be affordable or available to me. And I'll hit a home run, God willing, and do my best. So for that particular instance, no. It actually excites me when I see others getting opportunities because it showcases what's possible.
Yeah, it also opens opportunities for you. I talk about I'd rather be a celebrant than a celebrity. And even though I teach that and mentor now so many people about being celebrants and how to build a community of people that help each other and know people that can help each other, I will tell you, by being a celebrant, the more that we celebrate others, the more they offer opportunities, because you build this community of celebrants and they celebrate you and you celebrate them, but they buy from you and sell for you. Even if they're on a place or a situation that you want to be in. And I will tell you this in all humility, that although I teach it and preach it and understand it and practice it, I still spend minutes and moments in jealousy and envy and have to stop, drop, and roll and say, oh, here's the irony, Craig. There's times where I see people, my friends out there, and they're on a stage that, I want to be on. And it's actually on a date that I'm on another stage. And I'll give a real life opportunity. Here I'm going to Tahiti this week to do a mastermind, then to Houston, Mexico City, Orlando, San Francisco, LA, then Miami, then right to the TV show in Vegas, where I have tons of stuff with. I mean, it's amazing, right? Well, one of the people that's a close friend of mine who I love to celebrate is speaking at another stage, and my immediate reaction was, oh, why did they choose me? Right? Why did they choose me? And then I breathed and I started celebrating my friend. And then I realized, even if I was asked, I already had a commitment that date. And I'm just wasting so much time, energy, and emotion on nothing. And by celebrating others, it's creating this community of people that celebrate you. And the last point is too, I love when I was at the Silicon Slope Summit with Gary, and we were in the Delta Center, and I just loved he really raised the awareness for everyone, because I believe in the entrepreneur space. Gary Vee is Tom Brady in the football space. He's the GOAT. And when it comes to brand recognition in the entrepreneur space. You know, a lot, the guys that are out there doing what we do, Elon Musk, obviously, and those guys, but they don't do what Gary and you and I do, etc. So Gary, he asked the audience, who here knows me? And people clapped. But when he asked who here doesn't know me, 2/3 of the people clapped. And it once again made you realize, and then I just did that Aspire event with Tim Story and Gary and Itzler and everybody again. And it was really funny because I have a new intern and she's like all upset. She's like, oh my God, some people don't even know who you are. And I'm laughing. I'm all, some people, like try 7.5999 billion people out of the 7.6 billion people that exist. It's so funny how people lose perspective because everything's so siloed.
Yeah, good point. Beautifully said. And just show there's more to do. And also, it's like I have the mentality, and this is something that really worked over the last few years. I'm a constant learner. Like I don't know what I don't know, and I feel like I've never arrived, and I feel like we will never arrive. But we try to get closer and closer, and so forth. And so, if somebody was picked, whatever the case may be, I imagine that they're doing something really right.
Yeah, that's
Right?
such a good attitude, man. And I've seen a great, you know, the speaking of
Yeah.
which, you know, against people, it's so funny. I really want this person that's negative on here, Shapiro. I don't know who you are or whatever. Call me on my cell phone because, you know, I think it's fair that you don't like everyone. And 10% of people are going to hate me, hate Craig. But call me because, you know, that hurt that you have is only going to hurt you. And so I'm going to give my cell phone for anyone hurting out there. My cell phone's 858-688-3294. And fair enough to anyone that is commenting, calling people names and hurting other people. I really want to resolve that. Like I said, I want to celebrate you, celebrate Craig. There's tons of people that hate me, hate Craig, hate Gary, hate everyone. And that's the whole problem that we're talking about in the world right now is we don't need to hurt people. We don't need, if we're hurt, let's discuss how I can be of service or value to you. I work with literally millions of people to clear the interference between them and their potential. And I'm sure if Craig has supposedly hurt you in some way, that he'd want to resolve it. And so, you know, just ask. You know, we're both here, and I'm sure anything that has happened, Shapiro, we can resolve really quickly and help each other. So give me a call. I would love to speak with you. Sorry that you have to endure that, Craig, like everyone else, but we'll elevate others. Remember, the rules for the day, 10% of the people are going to love you no matter what. 10% are going to hate you no matter what. It's just a frequency thing. You are Tabasco in a wound, and the bigger your audience gets, as you get to the millions of people, that's 10% is a lot, right? If I have like, I don't know, approximately 2 million people in my community right now, that means 200,000 people hate me. Now they're not in my community, but that's a lot of people, man. And it takes a lot of a humility to allow that many people to attack you and to hate you and to do and to hurt and try to hurt. And let's all
I
think
actually feel
about.
compassion now because I can only imagine how much that person is hurting.
Hey, look, we
Hey,
cleared the interference.
Never
Just
give up. Never
it's
surrender.
working.
What's up, Kristen? How are you? Thank you for your
Good. How are
patience.
you
I
both?
always want to take ownership and accountability for everything where I'm at in this life, but I don't know what's going on with Instagram lately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's okay. It's working
that's it.
now. So we'll just
How
move
you doing?
forward
How's
from
everything by
here.
you?
Yeah, great. It's I'm in Asheville and the leaves are starting to change and
I
it's
love
just
it.
really gorgeous right
I
now
can't believe
here.
how many people have moved
Yeah.
to Asheville. Like when I was recruiting for football, first time I had to go there, there was like nobody there, nobody knew where it was. Now it's like half of my friends from California, like I live in Asheville. I was like, I know where that is.
Yep,
Because we hopped on a little bit late, let's get
totally.
right to it. And we also have another guest. I know David Saturday. If you could stay another couple minutes long, it'd be great. If not, I understand. Kristen, I was checking out your awesome content. And for everyone that's not familiar with both of her accounts, you should absolutely play catch up. And one thing that I saw you write, which I thought was really powerful, is this: that's bad chapters can still create good stories. And I thought that was really deep. And I'd love for you to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. You know, oftentimes when we're going through a challenge and we feel stuck, we think it's going to always be like this. But if we can just take action today, take a different action, wipe that slate clean, we can really create a new life for ourselves. And we just have to move through those feelings. And oftentimes it's with gratitude. And if you dedicate yourself every single day, and you both know this, you both talk about this, dedicate yourself every single day to something more positive and create those positive habits, you're going to have a completely new chapter. You can literally, like you say, reinvent yourself, have a whole new life. It feels like magic after you really get into it. It's like, wow, this really works. And
also, Dave,
it's
some of
great.
the
I
bad
love it.
chapters are necessary on the journey, right?
Yeah, I think, even attributing good or bad to a life experience needs to be re-engineered or reinvented within ourselves. What makes a great story is a great lesson. And those who have the capability of finding the light, the love, and the lesson in all the experiences that we have. Myself, my basement had a basement at one time in my life. And in that season, when I lost everything, over $100 million, including my mom's house, and she had to move. That was a low point. And at the time, I couldn't find the light, the love, and the lessons. I found punishment, not promotion and protection. And 15 years later, it's obvious to me, it's clear to me, the protection, promotion, the light, the love, and the lessons. And guess what? It makes for a really great story because there's a great lesson. And the continued story is, and Craig, you know this because we hang out. Last month, September, my wife blames Mercury in retrograde. I don't know what the situation was, but it was a tough season. I had a lot of death in my life and real pain. But I looked to my wife and my kids and I'm like, what's so great is my basement's a penthouse now. And, at one time my basement had a basement. Now my basement's the penthouse. When I have a bad season, I'm still moving on up. And to find the light, the love, and the lessons, to tell those stories, the truthful stories, to illuminate not all the successes and standing in front of shit you don't own to impress people. There's this big energy suck, right? It's I am compared to this is what I want people to think I am. And once I got rid of this part and just let people know who I am and the stories and lessons that I've learned, it seemed that more people resonated and learned from me, and I could pay the dummy tax for them. So super excited to have you here as well. And thanks, Craig, as always, for bringing such extraordinary guests.
Of course. This is so good. So many places we could take this. And there's another thing I want to ask both of you, actually. Kristen, I saw you talk about this, but Dave speaks about this too. And that is playing the long game and trusting the process. And Kristen, the word that you use, which I think is really beautiful, is surrendering. And I'm curious for the people, because a lot of our community and so forth are aspiring entrepreneurs and so forth. At what point do you surrender and trust the process, or maybe potentially realize that you might need to pivot or change some things? Where's the fine line between those two?
That's a really good question. So for me, surrendering is really more of like a spiritual thing, like trusting that it's not just all on me all the time, 24/7. And that really takes such a load off of me and the pressure. So surrendering to me was difficult at the beginning, but now it's so much easier when I realize like, hey, this is a difficult time. This isn't working out the way I expected, and I'm going to surrender. So it really depends on what the challenge is. But let's say it's a job that, is paying the bills, but you don't love it. What I did, and when that happened to me, is I started creating something on the side that I loved and put my passion into that in the morning and in the evenings, like my extra time instead of like watching Netflix or something, and just bridged it, right? Just kept investing into that. And then over time pivoted to that. Now that doesn't work for everyone, but our feelings are really like red flags. They're telling us that something's wrong. And if we try to change our mindset and we're still feeling these negative emotions, we're still feeling stuck, we're still overstressed, we've got to look at these triggers and find out where they're leading us, because we pivot in our life all the time. I don't know about both of you, but I constantly pivot. And when I pivot, I'm realizing I'm going to that next level, and it's really amplifying me if I surrender and just lean into the process.
Yeah, well, how I built this brand, the Ferocious Buddha, is people have a difficult time reconciling how do we detach from outcomes and still have goals, objectives, pivot, expand, however you want to look at it. And you have to have faith, because the universe, we were talking earlier, this infinite, abundant, more than enough of everything for everyone universe, it distributes itself in a disproportionate manner. It will distribute itself for those who think, say, do, believe, and feel, and more than enough. It will distribute more than enough for those just enough, and for those that think, say, do, believe, and feel not enough, it will distribute in that proportion as well. And so it's so important that we do our best, learn lessons, as we spoke earlier, and have fun each day in a trajectory of where we think we want to be or better. And the idea of surrender and the reconciliation of the future and learning lessons from the past to effectuate productivity, accessibility, and gratitude during each day is this idea of, I'm going to do everything I can personally, experientially, giving and receiving wise each day in a trajectory where I think I want to be, but I'm going to learn from the external circumstances and the outcomes how to perform better, accelerate, aggregate, and compound exponentially these outcomes. And a lot of people, the minute I talk about surrender, which, you know, Michael Singer is one of my favorite authors, and The Surrender Experiment is one of my favorite books, and I study the Course in Miracles, Lao Tzu, everything in that paradigm, but they just don't understand how you can be ferocious and be a Buddha. And I think when we can decipher 24 hours a day to put everything, to do our best, and not just do our best in finance, but fitness and faith and family, doing our best of relaxing, meditating, whatever it is, when we are performing our best all day in a trajectory, not holding on to an outcome, and then when outcomes come that aren't aligned with what we think we want, we think we failed, that to me helps people, or it illustrates to people what surrender really is. It's not sitting at home, high on your mom's couch, sick and broke, dreaming about what you want. It's allowing what you want to happen at the right place at the perfect time.
And synchronicities have a lot to do with that, you know, and trusting in those signs and then following those.
Yeah,
it really ties to intuition.
What you pay attention to and what you give intention to equals those synchronicities, those coincidences, the karma, the luck in our life.
Do you guys each have like another 3 minutes? I'm going to try to bring Miguel on. He's a beautiful soul.
Right.
Let's see if
Can we have her back? We didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a repeat offender on this 134 episodes in a row?
I don't think so. There he is.
I don't either. Whoa!
What's up, Miguel?
Good morning, you guys. Good morning.
Can I borrow?
Good morning.
That's amazing.
I got you, man. Anything.
Look at this thing. That's years of experience. Grass doesn't grow on a busy street.
That's my goal right there, man. I just want to be like you guys, man. I'm in the presence of greatness, so I'm happy to be here.
Miguel, thank you for your patience, brother.
Oh man, I've been enjoying this. Kristen, you're great too. You guys are great. I've been just sitting back and enjoying this, so no worries.
Yeah, let's get right after it. And for our audience, go follow, go check out all the awesome stuff both of them have going on. I just want to ask you straight up, you talk a lot about vision, and I love that. And I saw you say that vision is recognized without even saying a word. And I thought that was pretty powerful, and I'd love for you to unpack that.
Absolutely. When you look at somebody who is completely committed to their craft, they don't need to speak about it, right? Because we all know the difference between a talker and a doer, right? Visionaries are doers, right? Maybe they'll speak about it to the right people who they need to, but for the most part, you can tell by their work ethic, you can tell by their belief system, you can tell by the people they surround themselves with, you can tell by their habits who has vision and who doesn't have vision. The people who are on time, who conduct themselves the right way, it's evident, right? And when I say vision, I don't mean being able to live life based off of eyesight, off what you see, but I'm talking about mindsight, right? Seeing life based off of what could become, what you want to see. And so when you're around a person like that, and I believe I'm around 3 visionaries right now, when you're around a person like that, it is evident, right? It's completely in. And so I know, David, I know Tom Brady is going to be ecstatic to be around another visionary just like yourself, man. But yeah, that's what I say when I mean that vision recognizes vision, 100%.
Yeah. David, Kristen, you great?
I'll let Kristen go. She's been shorted time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's like be around people who illuminate your path because we're meant to surround ourselves with like minds. And that's how we truly change the world. I love
Yeah,
everything that you
I
said. That
think
was
vision
spot
is
on.
gratitude for the future. And when we have and find the light, the love, and the
Mm,
lessons in the future, it goes aligned with the disproportionate distribution of an infinite future by that mind sight. And I love the shift from mindset to mind sight and heart sight and even hand sight. And a lot of people, they limit themselves. You know, I want to reiterate because you are only limited by your own self-image. You'll never overachieve your own self-image. And
mm,
visionaries see beyond without looking with their eyes, but see beyond the people that laugh at them, scoff at them, make
Yes.
fun of them, hate on them, by the way. Uh, Instead, they see beyond that and they know what they want and who they are. And they don't worry what's missing, what they don't have, or what other people want for them, or what other people think they are. And I want to
Right.
work on that
mm.
energy crisis that exists between those two, especially in social media with the younger people. I want them to feel comfortable with who they are, not who people think they are.
You need
That's
a
so
mic
good.
drop on that.
I'm
That's
That
in
so
was
there.
good.
I
good.
should
That
get
was
paid
so
for this
good.
shit. What do you think, though?
Well, don't
Yeah, that
one
was so
thing. This is going to be
good.
a huge show, but I'll land the plane with this final nugget. Um, Miguel wrote this, and this is probably something that I could be better at if I'm being honest. He wrote, "You could be there and still not be there." And I imagine you talk about being present and being
Mm,
mindful, but maybe not. Tell us what you mean by that one.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, it was shifting more towards parenting, right? I have a 6 year old son. I'm a huge advocate for parents, for us progressing as parents, for not selling ourselves short for the children because they deserve the best, right? They didn't ask to be brought into this world. It was us who did it.
mm,
And so we need to step up as parents. But yeah, I meant, you could be there, but still not be there. You could be present but still not give your presence, right, and that quality time.
mm.
But I mean, I love that as a saying in itself. Craig, I didn't even think about that as a saying in itself. But when it comes to your vision, when it comes to your job, right, you could be there and still not be there, right? Does that vision need to be ignited, right? And so yeah, I love that.
Or even
Mm.
sometimes distracted about what we have to do later on, not being so in the moment, right, Dave?
Right.
Yeah, well,
Right. Which, yeah.
I use time. I have 4 children, so being a little bit older than everyone combined, I use time. So I just want to reiterate, especially in parenting, uh, 2 minutes a day of being present is worth 2 hours on a Saturday. And, I use time every day as a non negotiable with my wife, with my kids, with my mom. And it's a minimum amount of time each day. I don't go over. I mean, I do go over. It's not a requirement, but I do spend time every day. And just to give you an idea how little time it is, I spend a minimum of 2 minutes a day minimum with my three daughters who are 24, 22, and 19. I spend a minimum of 30 minutes with my 13-year-old and minimum of 30 minutes with my wife. But I spend a minimum of 1 minute with my mom still. I'm 55 years old. And I tell her every day that I'm happy, I'm healthy, I love her and appreciate her. And it's healed a lot of the insecurity and fear. And I've learned that from being a parent myself. So all those parents out there, make sure that you know that your kids are happy, healthy, love, and appreciate you. Tell them that you love them, you're proud of them, and you always have your back. It'll heal a lot of the fear and interference that lessens the bond of presence. And you can be there and be here with them as well. So, Miguel, thank you so much for that enlightening. Kristen, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're gonna do more
Yeah,
with both of you guys. Again, my
absolutely.
apologies about the technology today, but this was awesome. The perfect way to start the Saturday. Thank you guys all so much. Hope you have a great weekend. And for our community audience, go check out all the awesome, exciting dynamic stuff that both of them have going on.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you,
Nice to see
guys.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
Have
This
a
was
joining.
great
great.
weekend. Love you,
Have a great
Craig.
weekend, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Too much fun. The Paradigm Shift episode 134 in the books. We'll be back next week for 135, and I'm confident that the technology will work a little better as well. If you guys weren't familiar with Kristen and Miguel, do yourself a favor and familiarize yourself with them immediately. They're both awesome, all about mindset, positivity, optimism, perspective, great stuff. two great humans, and I'm personally excited to do much more with them as well. Hope you guys have an unbelievable weekend. If any of you guys want a free How to Reinvent Your Life toolkit, no problem. Just drop the word book here in the comments and check your messages. We'll send one over right away. But don't forget to check your message. Again, just the word book here in the comments. And I see we got a lot of our community on here as well. Love you guys very much. And let's have a great rest of the weekend. Let's be productive. Let's spread kindness. Let's do the right thing to the best of our ability. And let's be 100% in each moment that we're in. Love you.